Which team rules the North, and where is free agent Corey Perry going to land? Hey everyone, welcome into another edition of Off the Post. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Toronto Sun sports columnist Steve Simmons and Postmedia hockey columnist Bruce Garrioch. And guys, it's been a really strong season for NHL teams in Canada, including the Canucks and Jets, who are currently 1-2 in the overall standings with 61 and 60 points respectively, while the Oilers, who are currently in a wildcard spot, are much better than that, having won 10 in a row. When you look at these three teams, Bruce, specifically, who currently is the best Canadian team in your mind?
Well, to me, I think it's the Winnipeg Jets because I think they're playing well at both ends of the ice. Not only are they playing well, not only are they scoring a lot of goals, they're also playing well defensively. They've allowed less than 100 goals as we approach the midseason point. And I look at the Winnipeg Jets. I think that they've got Connor Hellebuck signed here long term. They've got the goaltending, and I think that's the difference for them when I look at these teams, Steve. I think they have the goaltending. They have a guy who's taken them a little bit further in the playoffs. As much as I, have liked what the Edmonton Oilers have done, Steve, I'm still not convinced about their goaltending.
Well, I don't even have to me. I separate Winnipeg and Vancouver from Edmonton right now, and I'll have that until we get closer to playoffs or see that they can continue on the streak that they're on. Although they're not going to win every game. On Monday, I say to myself, who's better, Winnipeg or Vancouver? And I come up with Winnipeg. On Tuesday, I ask the question again. I come up with Vancouver. I go back and forth on Wednesday and Thursday. Here's the difference, and I like what you said, Bruce, about the Jets. They're a team that plays both ends of the ice. They're a complete team. They have everything you'd want in a team, and they have that third line centerman who I think is so key to success in the NHL in Lowry, and he's the captain when he's playing the third line. Although they've had some injuries, so he's had to move up. But they have all the parts there to contend. What they don't have, and what the Canucks have, and this is what gets me sort of back and forth on this, is the Canucks have the spectacular players. The Canucks have Quinn Hughes, who can change games by himself. The Canucks have Elias Pettersson, who can change games by himself. Demko's an awfully good goaltender. Yes, Scheifele's probably the best in the NHL right. It's not Scheifele. I mean, Hellebuck is probably the best in the NHL right now. But it's hard to tell the difference between these two teams. And boy, have they played up to and beyond capabilities this season.
Yeah, it's been a great run for the Winnipeg Jets, winning a franchise high streak as well just last week. Meanwhile, there are plenty of playoff contenders in the NHL. Looking at free agent Corey Perry right now, who met with Commissioner Gary Bettman last week and seems to be in good standing to sign with another team after being released by the Blackhawks. And Steve, when you look at which teams might be the best fit for what he brings on and unfortunately off the ice right now, which teams stand out in your mind?
Well, first you start with, is Corey Perry okay? If Corey Perry's okay and he's not a problem, then my list is about 10 or 12 teams. Because who wouldn't want him, to go into a playoff series on your roster? I know he's 38 years old, but he's a guy, come playoff time, historically, who makes a difference. So if you're Philadelphia, for example, and you're fighting for a playoff spot and you're in a place you really shouldn't have been all year, wouldn't you want to sneak a Corey Perry in there just to can you imagine Corey Perry as a flyer? He just sort of fits the history of that team so well. You go through every single team that's in a playoff spot to the teams that are at the top. I think you can make a case for, as I was saying, 10 or 12 teams that would want him. And again, if he's right, and that's the whole thing with him. If he's right, I don't know why you wouldn't want him.
To me, Steve, it's like a trade deadline acquisition without giving up a third or fourth or fifth round pick, right? When Corey Perry was a free agent in the summer, I thought Ottawa should have signed him, but they weren't going to pay him the $4 million that the Chicago Blackhawks gave him. I think it was a $4 million. Anyway, and I look at Corey Perry right now. He can help any contender. He's a fit for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's a fit for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think that he could be a fit for the Florida Panthers. I think anybody that needs a gritty fourth line player who, like you say, if his head is in the right place, then I think he's going to be able to help someone, because what the guy brings is, the Senators have talked all about getting veteran leadership. He's probably exactly right what they need right now. Now, there's no point going down that road with him because they're not going to contend. But I think any contender who, if, like you say, if Corey Perry's okay and they can, and that team can handle the criticism they're going to get for signing him on social media, because it's a given. Okay, if they can handle that, then I think he can help anybody. I think he could really help the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I really do.
Danger is if he goes off the tracks, and that's always a concern you have to take when you're getting a player who was obviously let go from his team, and in one of the most unusual circumstances I think we've ever seen. He didn't go into the league program. He didn't go into the rehab program, and he just disappeared. And now he's allegedly back. And so, but you look at the history just in recent years as a part-time guy, as a 37-year-old, and a 36-year-old, 35-year-old, 34-year-old, he's been a difference maker.
Yeah.
He's taught guys. He knows what it is to win. He came into the NHL in Anaheim when they won the Cup. Like, he knows and understands winning, and not that many players do, especially in today's world. I think fewer do than ever before. And so that kind of guy, run through. Would Vegas want him? Would Dallas want him? Would Edmonton need him? Like, I think everybody would.
Well, yeah, because there's not a fourth line you wouldn't look at and go, okay, well, he could be a difference maker, fourth liner in the playoffs. No question about it.
And a second power play guy.
Yeah.
Who will be in the crease and who will bother goalies and who will do all those things if, and I repeat this again, if he's okay.
Yeah, he has to be okay, though. That's you. If you are going to do this, you had better do your due diligence.
Yeah, a lot of question marks still surrounding Corey Perry, but it'll be very interesting to see where he ultimately goes. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments section below. For Steve Simmons and Bruce Garrioch, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week on another Off the Post.